All right, so you've gotten your feet wet with infrastructure as code. But there's a huge difference between code that just works and code that's truly professional, robust, and ready for the real world. Today, we're going to close that gap. We're diving deep into mastering Terraform, taking your scripts from just functional to truly foundational. Let's get into it.
So your Terraform apply finishes up with no errors. And hey, that's a great start, right? But the real test, the real question, is what happens next. Can your code actually handle changes without falling apart? Can you go from 10 servers to 1,000 without having to rewrite the whole thing? And maybe, most importantly, is it safe from that one little accidental command that could take everything down? This is what separates the good code from the great code.
So let's just dial it all the way back to the beginning, to the absolute fundamentals of writing clean, correct code right from the start. And this isn't just about dodging syntax errors. It's about building a solid foundation of trust for everything else you're going to build on top of it.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? A simple little typo, an extra S where it doesn't belong. It seems so minor, but when you're dealing with a huge configuration, these tiny mistakes can spiral into major headaches and just so much wasted time trying to figure it out.
So, the big question is, how do you catch these silly little mistakes before they turn into huge problems? Before they sneak into your pipeline or, even worse, affect your actual infrastructure. There has to be a better way than just waiting for apply to fail in a blaze of glory. And luckily for us, there is. Meet your new best friend, Terraform Validate. This is your first line of defense. It's a super fast command that just checks if your syntax is valid. It doesn't need to connect to the cloud, it doesn't check your state, it just tells you if your code itself makes sense. Making this a habit is going to save you so much frustration.
And then, for the sanity of everyone on your team, you've got Terraform FMT. This awesome little command just automatically cleans up your code to a standard, consistent style. It totally ends all those pointless arguments about tabs versus spaces, and it means anyone can jump into your code and understand it right away. Just remember, clean code is maintainable code.
Okay, now we're going to pivot a little bit. To really get good at Terraform, you have to wrap your head around one of its core ideas, immutability. It's a really powerful concept, and it will totally change how you think about managing and updating your infrastructure. Think about it this way. On one hand, you've got mutable infrastructure. That's like you log into a server and you run an update script. You're changing it right there, in place. But on the other hand, you have immutable infrastructure. And here, instead of changing the server, you just throw it away and replace it with a brand new, updated one. Terraform is all about this second approach.
So why does this matter so much? Because that old way of doing things, changing things in place, it leads to this really nasty problem called configuration drift. This is when your servers, which were all supposed to be identical, slowly drift apart because of manual tweaks and updates. Pretty soon, you've got a total mess of inconsistencies that's impossible to debug. And check this out. This is a perfect example of Terraform's immutable thinking in action. Look at this plan. All we did was change the file permission in the code. But Terraform isn't going to go in and edit the file. Nope. Its plan is to completely destroy the old one and create a brand new one. This is how it guarantees every single deployment starts from a perfect known state.
All right, so replacing stuff is the default, and that's great for keeping things clean. But hold on a second. What if destroying a resource before you create the new one causes an outage? Well, this is where we learn how to bend the rules a little with lifecycle settings.
First up is a real lifesaver for high availability: create before destroy. By adding this to a resource, you're telling Terraform, hey, make sure the new version is up and running before you get rid of the old one. This is absolutely essential for things like load balancers or application servers where you just can't afford any downtime.
Next, we've got prevent_destroy, which is basically a big red stop button for your most important stuff. If any change would cause Terraform to delete a resource you've marked with this, like, say, your production database, it'll just stop the whole process and throw an error. It's one line of code that could save you from a catastrophic mistake. And last but not least, ignore changes. This is how you teach Terraform to play nicely with others. Maybe you have an auto-scaling group that changes its own tags. Well, this rule just tells Terraform, hey, it's cool. I know this thing is going to change on its own. Just look the other way.
So let's just recap real quick. These 3 rules give you that fine-tuned control right when you need it. As you can see, you use create before destroy for uptime, prevent destroy for safety, and ignore changes for flexibility. It's all about making the tool work for your specific situation.
Okay, let's talk about scale. Because, making one thing is easy. But what happens when you need to make hundreds? You can't just copy and paste resource blocks all day. You need a better way.
For the longest time, the go-to tool for this was count. You'd give it a number, it would loop that many times, and it would keep track of everything by its position. You know, index 0, index 1, index 2, and so on. Seems simple enough, right?
But, and this is a big but, its simplicity is actually a trap. Let me ask you this. What do you think happens if you just delete the very first item from the list you're feeding to count? You'd probably think Terraform is smart enough to just delete that one resource. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, not so much. This is what we call the index shifting nightmare. When you remove that first item, everything else shifts up. What was at index 1 is now at index 0. What was at 2 is now at 1. So Terraform sees a bunch of changes and triggers a massive, cascading replacement of resources that didn't need to be touched. A tiny change in your code can cause a huge disruptive mess. And that brings us to the hero of our story, for each. It's a total game changer. Instead of using a fragile number, for each uses a unique, meaningful name or key for each resource. So now, if you remove an item, Terraform knows exactly which one to destroy and leaves everything else alone. It is so much more stable, more predictable, and it's absolutely the way to go. All right, for our final section, let's talk about building for the future. How do we make sure the awesome, stable code we're writing today is still going to work reliably a year from now? Well, it all comes down to managing your dependencies.
I bet you've seen this warning a million times after running Terraform init, and it is so easy to just ignore it, right? But please, don't. By default, Terraform will just grab the latest version of a provider. The problem is, a new major version could have breaking changes that could suddenly make your perfect code fail.
The fix is something called version pinning. It's super simple. You just tell Terraform exactly which provider versions are okay to use. That little squiggly arrow, the pessimistic constraint operator, is your best friend here. If you write ~1.2.0, it means I'm okay with any patch release, like 1.2.1, but do not upgrade me to 1.3.0. This gives you the best of both worlds, stability and security updates.
So let's put it all together. We talked about getting the code right from the start with validate and FMT, being predictable with immutability, having fine-grained control with lifecycle rules, scaling up smartly with for each, and staying stable over time with version pinning. When you put all this into practice, you get more than just good code. You build real confidence and predictability into your systems. And that leaves us with one final, bigger question. When your team stops spending all their time fighting fires and dealing with unpredictable infrastructure, what incredible, innovative new things could they build instead? That, right there, is the real power of mastering this tool.